Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning.
Waalaikumsalam Doktor.
Salam
Okay,
Doktor.
Salam.
yeah, okay, macam itulah kita semangat. Okay, because just now I just attend the interview with EAC panel, okay. So ni baru nak prepare for the class. Okay, I will show the attendance for section 7 first. Macam mana Amin boleh scan dulu? Saya tak show lagi tadi.
Oh ya ke? Sebab
This one for section 7. Okay, scan dulu. And then for your information, okay, right now in my section we have 3 sections. Section 7, Section 8 and Section 13. And then all together is 81 students. So mana datangnya 81 students ni? But in the beginning we only have about I think about 60 plus 68 students. You all pindah daripada section lain ke?
Ya, Doktor.
Kenapa pindah? Kenapa pindah?
Masalah rumah tangga tu.
Masalah rumah tangga, kenapa tak selesaikan dalam rumah tangga tersebut? You kalau dah, okay, contohnya macam you dah kahwin, you get married already with someone, and then if you have the problem in your marriage, then you cannot leave your wife and then find someone else. Betul tak?
Betul Doktor.
Why don't you solve the problem dalam rumah tangga you tu? Barulah kita kata, okay, kita berani take the risk. Okay, ni section 7, tengok. Okay, 31. Ada lagi for section 7? Because I want to move for section 8. Okay, so I move to section 8 now. Hari ni pun I try to finish early lah because I have another appointment. Okay, section 8. Two students. Ada lagi? Twenty-three. 34. Okay, so I move another one, section 13. This one is section 13. Okay, ada lagi section 13. Okay, tak ada. Alright, so we continue our lecture. Okay, previously we stopped at chapter 1 lagi kan? Ke chapter 2 dah? Chapter 2 Ni
Chapter 1 doktor.
Presentation kan?
Betul doktor.
Okay. (21 bulan 10). Ikut. Okay. So we did until organizational behavior, betul?
Betul doktor.
Okay, OB dah kan? Alright. So now we move to systems approach, group 9 or 10. So I stop sharing the slide. Sekejap. Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Good morning to all friend and
Nama?
my name
Nama Ali Group tak ada.
Ali Group tak ada. Lupa saya letak.
Okay.
Ali Group ada 4 orang. My name is Al-Amin. I'm going to share about one of the approach of management, which is system approach. System approach is a set of interrelate and interdependent parts arranged in a manner that produce a unified whole, which is satu sistem yang ada
English.
a system that correlate each other. So there are two approach. There are two examples, which is open system and closed system. So open system is system that dynamically interact with their environment, influenced by the external environment. So basically, open system is by open system basically adalah dekat company lain. So pun buat data.
Okay.
So another system, another example is closed system. This closed system is a system that not influenced by or do not interact with environment. So this is a rare system. One of the example of the closed system is this, which is at the North Korea, where there are no something that came out or come in the North Korea because of their security and yalah dia punya ni. So this is open system that how they works. So as I mentioned just now, the open system is interact with environment. So first, there are inputs that convert into the process, then come out with outputs. But after they get input, they get the feedback to improve the input. Then the environment also give the impact of the output and the input. So the implication of the system approach, as I mentioned just now, because the inputs give the effect to this process and the output. So the coordination of the organization parts is essential for proper functioning of the entire organization. So decision and action taken in one area of the organization will have an effect in other areas of the organization. Because as I mentioned just now, whatever inputs takes in this area will affect the outputs. And then lastly, organization are not self-contained and therefore must adapt to a change in their external environment. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Alamin. Okay. We open for question and answer. Or if you don't really understand, then you can ask Amin and his colleague to explain further. Or you would like to share any other examples related? Come on, class.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, Fahim.
Actually, I'm just a little bit confused as to what was the main title. Is it open and closed system or something?
Can you repeat that question?
Is it open system and closed system? Your title,
Oh no, it's about system approach.
system approach.
System approach has two example, which is closed system and open system.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay, system approach, we have two types. One open system, the second one is closed system. Okay. So for open system, they open all the systems and for example the components, so they ask other suppliers also get involved. But for closed system, they only interact in their own system. So normally for closed system has been adapted by Japanese company. Even though sometimes okay they open for for other other suppliers to get involved, but the limitation they set the limit until to what extent the supplier can access. So normally Jepun agak kedekut sikit lah. But for open system, normally for like US company, so they are more open, and then in terms of environment, in terms of, and then in fact, if let's say they have the new product introduction, NPI, okay, we call it a new product introduction to the market, we call it as NPI. So when they introduce the NPI, they will get the market to give the feedback first before they launch the fully production. So that is US approach. Okay, right. So any other question that you may confuse? So yang Korea Utara, Northern Korea also adopt the closed system lah. Tadi siapa yang tanya tadi?
Tak. So far so good.
So far so good. Alright. Okay. Okay, next we go for the last system, contingency approach. Contingency approach group (11) or 12. Either one. Group 11 or 12. Okay, let me check group 11. Group 11 or 12.
Yes, doctor. May I try?
Okay, Tan.
Okay.
Awal-awal ni you all macam tak confident je. Dah first year kena confident lebih sikit.
Okay, can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Tan from Group 11, and here is our team member, and I would like to explain about contingency approach. The contingency approach is based on the theory.
Make it slideshow, Tan.
Slideshow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. A contingency approach is based on the theory that management effectiveness is contingent or dependent upon the interplay between the applications of management's behavior and specific situations. In other words, the way you manage should change depending on the circumstance. So we can say that different people, different situations require different way of managing. So for example, when the manager discovered the R&D department is trouble in designing a new product and it's already a month behind the schedule, the manager should not publicize the problem to the entire company. Instead, he should work closely with the R&D leader to identify the source of delay and try to fix them. Because publicizing the problems in R&D could just lead to a decrease in employee morale especially in the sales and marketing department that are working diligently on the strategy to promote their product. And the second example is an employee show up late to work regularly. A manager can just give the employee notice directly, but under this approach, the manager may decide to better understand the situation by talking to the employee about why he or she is late to work and then deciding a most effective and appropriate course of action. So in this case, the contingency approach allows the employee to keep her or his job and save the manager from going through the time and trouble to diminish one employee and hire another. So the advantage of this approach is provide a realistic view of management and organizations, discuss the universal validity of principle, and the manager are situation-oriented and not stereotyped. But the disadvantage is there is no theoretical base, and the executive or manager leader is expected to know all the alternative course of actions, and definitely it is difficult to analyze as a situation can be influenced by many factors. And that's all from us.
All right. Okay, good then. Okay, any other question from the floor? Anyone? Okay, have you experienced any contingency approach has been adapted by the company that you have been for internship last time? Is there any situation that you can share? Come on, think fast. Contingency approach means based on the situation. So is there any contingency approach has been adapted by the company that you undergo for your internship? Come on, guys. Ini kalau ujian final ni, fail ni.
I have one, doctor.
Okay, yes.
During my internship, at the end, instead of she met at me because I am not so proactive during the internship. So instead of she met, but she advised me to be more proactive and ask many questions during internship, so I can learn a lot from the program.
Okay. Is there any policy or policy changes during this pandemic in the during the internship?
Policy changes. I think the working period lah, because during my internship I need to work 1 week from home and 1 week at the office.
Okay, so itu yang saya nak dengar. Okay, alright. Okay, thank you Zikril Hakim. Okay, okay. Okay, contingency approach is also applicable for the during pandemic. Okay, during pandemic, some of the company, even though they stated when you receive the letter from the company, they said, okay, you have to work from 8 to 5. But then during pandemic, they changed the policy of the working period and say, okay, all staff should work based on turn. Meaning, okay, this week, okay, maybe other staff will work for 8 until 5. And the rest maybe will take for another week. Okay, they take turn. Or second, they will reduce the number of working period at the office. to avoid the close contact. Okay, and then the third one is, for example, for UTM, previously they say, okay, only 40% staff have to work at the office, and the rest 60% have to work from home. So that is also contingency approach. It based on the situation, and then and it based on the environment, how it works. Okay, so okay, understand on the contingency approach?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
All right. Okay, so I share this one. I just give overview, then you have to think a little bit the relationship, some issues. Okay, after you learn about the management style, okay, so these are the current trends and issues that may affect your the organization management style. So first is globalization. Okay, what is the issue on the globalization?
Doctor, if I may,
Siapa? Abdul Fahmi.
Hafizuddin.
Hafizuddin. Okay, yes, Hafizuddin.
The way I understand about globalization, mostly about time difference.
Okay, so
So,
what is the effect on time difference?
so our working time might be more flexible, and some people on other end of the world might need to be awake at 3 a.m. for something like that.
Yes, correct. So that is happen. Okay, okay. For example, previously I work in the, I have the not internship like like undergraduate student lah. I undergo the sabbatical. Okay, sabbatical leave. Kita panggil latihan istisas for the staff. Okay, latihan istisas. So I attach with one subsea in Port Tanjung Pelepas. Okay, so one subsea, sometimes they have to set a meeting with Asia Pacific, sometimes in the global area. So when because I attach with quality department, so quality department will deal with the audits. Okay, so when they have the meeting for the audits, so all the staff have to stand by. For example, okay, we if you have a meeting with US team, okay, because the standards for oil and gas should comply with API standard, American Petroleum Institute standards. Okay, so anything that we document in Malaysia have to tally with the document in US. So they have to set a meeting at weird hours. So that is globalization. Okay. So we don't pay the extra apa kita panggil, extra incentives to the worker. That is the responsibility for the worker. Similar with my case, okay. Right now I have PhD student. So my PhD student, one living in the Canada, because during this pandemic, so they allow all the students can work at their own country. And then the second, actually I have altogether is 7 for next semester. So another one is from Indonesia. So for Indonesia, the lack of hours is only, the difference is only 1 hour. But for Canada, it's more than 12 hours kan. So it depends on the region. So for Canada, my student have to stay until 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, because sometimes I will arrange the meeting for the whole team members. Okay, so that is globalization as well. Okay, all right. So what about ethics? What is the current trend or issues related with the management on ethics? Come on. Kita banyak lagi nak discuss ni.
Madam, boleh saya try?
Yes, please. Siapa?
Saya Amiruddin.
Amiruddin, alright.
That an engineer that have a set of rules they must follow when they apply their works.
Okay, correct. Because whoever or wherever you work, you have to follow the ethics. We have the ethical issues. So when the staff have the ethical issues, then the management have to take action. Whether you are not allowed to work in the company, okay, or you ban the worker to apply to any other apa kita panggil supply chain of the company. Okay, for example, okay, previously Hewlett Packard, okay, Hewlett Packard have the technical hub in Johor. So this Hewlett Packard, they don't have the manufacturing company. They only have sales office in the KL and the technical hub also in Singapore. Okay, so who did the manufacturing of the product of HP? So they hire the contract manufacturer, CM. So the contract manufacturer, for example, they have Flextronic. Okay, so Flextronic will process and assemble the product of the Hewlett Packard. So the engineer from Hewlett Packard will audit and oversee all the processes in Flextronic to make sure Flextronic produce the product similar as what they required. They have to meet the apa kita panggil specification of the product. So what is the ethics that they highlight? Okay, Hewlett Packard is the manufacturer, so the worker of the manufacturer cannot resign immediately and then work for Flextronic. Itu melanggar ethics. Okay, so they stated in the rules, they state, okay, if Flextronic would like to hire the engineer from Hewlett Packard, so that engineer have to work to another place for 3 years first. After 3 years, then they will, the Flextronic will take the worker to work with them. Because why? It will have conflict of interest. So it will relate with ethics. Okay, faham?
Faham, Doktor.
Alright. Okay, next ada example of ethics, nanti you cari lah. And then third, workforce diversity. Okay, ni saya nak cepat. Okay. Yes, please, apa?
Lim
Lita, okay.
Yeah. For me the workforce diversity is like employer hire employee with too many diversity of gender, race, age, sexuality, language, education, and also background. So it will causes the communication issues. Then maybe they have too many opinions, and also the language using is different, and also the background. So it become like have too many major communication issues. So they have not a main idea to do to develop. That is for me lah.
Yes, correct. Okay. Okay, thank you, Limlita. Okay, workforce diversity. Okay, for example, UTM. Okay, UTM, we have to serve the student and then we have to hire the lecturers. So the policy of the university right now, they try to avoid, it's not they don't want, they try to avoid to hire lecturers who are graduate from UTM itself. Because there is no apa kita panggil, the mixture of the knowledge, the mixture of the culture, the mixture of how we do it. So not stereotype. Okay, so that's why okay, previously I actually graduated from UTM. Okay, I graduated from UTM in 2000. And then afterward, I continue my master's degree in UTM as well, Advanced Manufacturing Technology. That was in 2003. Then I served UTM for another 3 years. Then by 2006, the management asked me to continue to further my study in PhD. At that time, PhD is not necessary, it's not compulsory for all lecturers. Okay, but my name has been selected to further my study in PhD. So at that time, I said, okay, I would like to continue in UTM because I have already a house. I already settled down with my kids and with my husband in Johor. So no need to, to move to other country for 4 years. But then the top management said, okay, this is one of the policy of the university where you are not encouraged to graduate because I was graduated from UTM. So you are not encouraged to further, okay, bachelor degree in UTM, master's in UTM, PhD also in UTM. So the knowledge will not improving and not develop so much. So therefore, I have to go out and find other country lah. So that's why I choose Liverpool at that time. So that is workforce diversity because they don't want the stereotype of style, the management, the thinking is too stereotype. Okay, so when you apply your work after you graduate soon, okay, you have to think the application is not come from UTM only. We have other 5 top university in in Malaysia. We also have the graduates from private university, and private university, their communication skill, their presentation skill is way better from technical or from public university. I can say that. But in terms of knowledge of technical, we win so much lah. We win far away from them. But in terms of soft skill, presentation skill, confidence level, okay, the leadership skill, so they are more win than us. But during the interview, the first screen that they will look is in your confidence level, your presentation skill, the way you talk, okay, your point of view. So that's why in this class, I try to get engaged with the students to train all of you to talk and then give your ideas. Even though, okay, you cannot think at that moment, but when you start talking, so you will find the idea immediately. Okay, it's not something that you have to karang, you plan first, what do you want to talk? No, you have to think fast. Okay, so that was workforce diversity lah. Okay, so next, entrepreneurship, e-business, okay, and then in fact right now a lot of company, they set for e-business. Previously they have the physical shop, but now move to e-business. So when they move the e-business, they don't have the office. Sometimes they don't have office, but they have the worker. So how they manage the worker? So that is e-business. And then knowledge management, they pull all the information together as a knowledge management. Okay. So for example, the training, online training, so that is under knowledge management. Previously, the worker have to attend the courses face to face and then have to present. But now, in terms of knowledge management, they want to make sure the worker have the knowledge, develop the knowledge. So you have to attend the courses online, and then you have to sit the exam and answer the question online as well. and then learning organization as well as quality management. So that is current trends and issues lah on the management. Alright. So ini ethical, okay. Ini nanti boleh inilah, boleh baca kemudian. Okay, skip that one. So we go for second topic. Okay, strategic management. Okay, in this topic, okay, so what you will learn is about the importance of strategic management, the definition of strategic management, what is the strategy of the organization and the business model that they adopted. And then why this strategic management is very important for the organization. Okay, and then in fact for UTM, every year we will conduct the strategic meeting or strategic courses. So they will, the top management will have the workshop, and then they will find representative from young lecturer, the mature lecturer, as well as top management lecturer who are professors, Professor Madya, and so on. Okay, but why they need to conduct that type of workshop? What they want to find in strategic management? Okay. And then you have to know the strategic management process, list the 6 steps in the strategic management process, describe what managers do during external and internal analysis of the strategic process, and explain the role of resources, capabilities, and core competencies. And you also have to learn how to do the SWOT analysis. So I believe when you study during your Form 4, Form 5, you attended a lot of courses to know your own strength, because at that time kan motivation talk apa semua kan, so you have to analyze yourself. Okay, what is your strength, what are your weaknesses, and what is the opportunity that you can get, and what is the threat. So we will do the same approach for the organization as well. It's not only to find your capability, your strength, but we also have to analyze the SWOT analysis for the organization. Okay, right. So you also will learn the organizational strategies. So what is the major type of corporate strategies? Okay, and discuss the BCG matrix and how we want to use the BCG matrix, and describe the role of competitive advantage in business level strategies, Porter's 5 forces model. Okay, Porter's model is very famous. So it's not only for the exam, but how you adopt this Porter's model into the organization strategies. And then describe Porter's 3 generic competitive strategies and the rule of 3. And the last is we will discuss on the trend, the issues of strategic management in today's environment. Okay, so for example, flexibility, itu yang sometimes even though the company said, okay, you have to work 8 to 5, but suddenly at midnight, 12 o'clock, you will receive a text message from your manager. So that is flexibility. Okay, so later we will discuss further. All right, so what is the strategic management? So strategic management is the what managers to do to develop the organization strategies. Okay, what type of strategies for the organization? So all organizations, we need to plan how the organization will do whatever is in business to do. What is the best organization have to do? Okay, how we want to compete successfully. Okay, so for example, Proton and Produa, how these two companies, automotive companies in Malaysia, they want to compete successfully. Okay? And how it will attract and satisfy its customers in order to achieve its goal. Okay, for your information, I just give the scenario in automotive industries. So in automotive industries, we have one cake, right? So the portion of the customer for automotive industries is like one cake. We cannot expand another cake. Tak, dia punya population is fixed, one cake. So how you want to divide, okay, between Proton and Produa customers? Because the customer is fixed. So if let's say the customer already buy the Produa car, so the balance will go to Proton. Okay, that is only between Proton and Produa. But what if we include together with Toyota, Honda, apa lagi, Isuzu, Peugeot, okay, Mercedes, BMW. So at last, the portion of the customer for Produa or Proton becomes smaller. Okay, so that is happen for automotive industries because the customer or the population in Malaysia is fixed like that. Okay? It's not expand. It's not have, okay, even though other customer already bought the BMW, finish one cake, so we create another one cake. No, because to buy the car, it also involve all the loans, so we have a limitation of customer. Okay, so that's why in terms of strategic management, the company have to really plan how we want to compete successfully in the market and how to satisfy and catch the customers as soon as possible. Right. And then next is business model. So business model is a strategic design for how a company intends to profit from its strategies, work process and work activities. So how we want to design, okay? Is it, okay, for example, okay, when we take a business from Nilofa, so Nilofa have their own vendor, and at the same time Nilofa also sell their product through online, and Nilofa also have their own shop. Okay, so that is their business model. But if you change, if you find to, for example, Dyson, okay, they have their they have their office, but only for R&D. They don't have the manufacturing facilities. They only produce for design. Okay, so they have to work with contract manufacturer. So Dyson, similar with Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard also don't have the manufacturing facilities. They have to work with their contract manufacturer. So that is their business model. Okay, compared to Nilofa, they have to find their own material, they have their own manufacturing, okay, manufacturing facilities, and then when they want to sell, they have their vendors, they have the online as well as shop. But for Dyson, how they want to sell, okay, they will send all the products to warehouse, and warehouse is belong to Dyson. Okay, and they also have a shop of Dyson, and they also have other subsidiary to sell the product of Dyson. So that is the business model for Dyson. Okay, So for business model, it focuses on two things: whether customers will value the company is providing, or whether the company can make any money doing that. So it's always thinking about the customer and money. Okay, right. So why the strategic management important? First, from the strategic planning or strategic management, it will determine whether the company can perform higher or not. Because if they have a wrong strategy, so the results will be devastated lah. Okay. Second, it requires that managers examine and adapt to business environment changes. So if let's say any changes of business environment or policy of the company, so it will rely on the strategic management and plan. Okay. Have you remember the rooftop of the UTM previously I shared with you? Ingat tak? Ada tak saya share?
Ada doktor.
Okay, yang awal-awal yang dah masuk dalam kelas saya, okay, I already shared. Okay, so that is from strategic management, strategic plan. Okay, they already forecast for next 2025 for the organization. So in order to achieve that, because our mission, okay, kita tengok kat sini. Sebab ada yang tak nampak dulu kan. SEMM. Okay, nampak tak?
Nampak.
Okay. So UTM want to be the premier university providing world-class education and research. So that is our vision. Okay. So in order to achieve that, what we are planning, okay, ni lah yang strategic priorities, yang strategic trust ni. So the strategic trust is world-class holistic talents to extend the frontier of education and research. So strategic priorities that we want to focus is we want to produce holistic talent by developing high quality graduates. How we want to produce the holistic talent? Okay, from the activity produced by the university. We also have the exchange student program. Okay, so if you join the exchange student, previously we have GOP. So some students go to the GOP in Korea. So when they mix around with a Korean student, Korean nature, Korean culture, so when they back to university, their thinking and the way they approach to others is different. Okay, it's not only academic, but we want to produce the holistic talent. That's why I keep asking you to talk, to discuss, okay? Because we don't want to produce like normal engineer. No, we don't want that. We want our engineers produced by University of Technology Malaysia ni is capable to deliver the high performance. Bukan only know how to calculate, no. How to calculate, do the report and then send, no. You have to be able to speak, you have to be able to present, you have to portray yourself very confident. When you're confident by yourself, when others see your appearance, they will confident in you. But if you're not confident enough, orang lain tengok lagi lah tak confident. So that is our strategic priorities. We want to produce you as a holistic talent. Okay. And then second, provide continuous upskilling of university staff to achieve excellence in education and research. So that's why all the lecturers is not only teaching, but they also have to spend their time for research. So for me, myself, I am in research track, because we can select either more to education or teaching, or more to research. So I select for more to research. Okay, so that is for ST1, the strategic trust 1. So this is the strategic priorities, S1 and S2. This one for student, this one for lecturers. Okay, and then when you see the ST5, Global Eminence Malaysia Top Research University 2025. So we are looking for toward 2025 plan. So this is our plan lah. So within 2025, we have to be the Malaysian top research university. So what is the strategic priorities that the student and the lecturers have to do? We have to achieve global eminence as a distinguished Malaysia research university in line with national and global agenda. So whatever research, okay, sorry. Okay, whatever research that we do have to align with national and global agenda. Then we can be the Malaysian top university. So this is the example for strategic management of the university. So similar with the organization. If the organization, they already plan for maybe for 10 years or maybe 5 years ahead. Okay. Right, so for example for Malaysia, previously Tun M says, okay, by 2020, kita nak jadi apa? We have the wawasan kan, wawasan 2020. But now we have apa lagi Malaysia? 2030, betul? So they plan another 10 years. Kat mana dia nak bawa Malaysia ni? So you will be the talent in professional talent during this planning for Malaysia by 2030. So you have to know the direction of the Malaysia, direction of the country. Okay, so that's why the strategic management is very important, because we want to make sure the organization or country will perform better. Alright, and it coordinates diverse organizational units, helping them focus on organizational goals. So if everyone knows the goals of the organization, so easier to coordinate. But what if, okay, they already plan for strategic management for next 5 years or 10 years, but the unit itself, the staff is not understand. So the organization also will not achieve the target. Okay. And then number 4, it is very much involved in the managerial decision making process. So when they do the strategic management or strategic planning for the organization, of course they have to do the decision making. That's why as I mentioned previously, okay, because previously UTM said want to be the research university. So during that plan, and then those lecturers who don't have the PhD, they give the offer whether they want to change the university or change to work under Space UTM. Because at that time, the number of lecturers without PhD is a bit higher. Okay? So that's why they offer that. Similar with the company. Company, they have the VSS. If you can Google, okay, VSS program. So if the company have the other strategic management, okay, either affected by the economy or they have other plan to merge with other company ke. So for example, yang previously kalau CIMB, before the CIMB, nama dia apa? BIMB kan? Bumi Putra Bank, something. And then they merge with another bank, I can't remember. You boleh Google lah. CIMB tu merge daripada company mana dengan company mana. So check. CIMB from where? Okay, banyak. Dia ada BBMB, dia ada United Asian Bank, okay, ada Pertanian Baring, Sanwa Multinational Berhad. So they merge together with Bianchiang Bank, Bank of Commerce, Ban Hin Lee. So when they merge, tahun bila they merge? Dia 2 kali jugalah dia merge. Okay, so when they merge, and then when they, because a few banks have to merge together, so they have the access of the worker. Why they merge at that time? Because of the economy. Okay, so they have to make the managerial decision making. Which staff they want to remain, which staff they want to terminate. So first thing, they will offer the VSS. So VSS is the program volunteer who want to resign. So it's a very hard decision. Okay, so if they take the VSS and then they got some money and then go somewhere else, or they can open the business. Okay, so that's why the strategic management is very important. Okay, any question for the importance of strategic management? Any issues or any something that you don't understand or you can't relate?
No, Doctor.
Okay, faham Kalau tak faham, you raise the hand and then we can discuss in class. Because I give you the overview how the things work outside. Okay. Alright. So these are the management process, the strategic management process. Okay. First, the company have to know what is the organization's current mission, goals and strategies. So that was what UTM did lah. Okay, they have to know their mission, what they want to be for next 5 years, what they want to be for next 10 years. So similar with Malaysia. Okay, Malaysia previously we are more on agricultural, and then during TON we are more on industrial. So a lot of investors came into Malaysia and we set up many manufacturing company. Okay, so and then towards the end, right now we engage with the IR 4.0. So for next 10 years, you can read the mission of the Malaysia by 2030. What are their plan for next 10 years? Okay. So okay, because for example Malaysia, okay, they have their plan and mission by 2030. So towards the end, okay, if you want to choose the correct path of your career, so it also depends on the mission of the country. Okay, sama juga dengan UTM. We already set the mission by 2025. So along the road, the promotion, the staff, the new hire staff have to align with the mission of the organization. Right? So after clear all this, the mission, goals and strategies, then we have to analyze the capability of the organization. So we will conduct the SWOT analysis. So SWOT analysis, we can divide into 2, external analysis and internal analysis. So internal analysis, you have to know the strength of the company and the weaknesses of the company. Okay. And for the external, you have to look outside. What is the opportunity outside? And what is the threats that may make the company drop or may make the company not perform? So you have to know the threats and opportunities from outside, and you have to know the internal strength or weaknesses inside. Okay. Then after you analyze of the organization, then you can formulate your strategies, then implement the strategies because you know your strength and weaknesses, then you can evaluate the results. Okay. This also can this also can implement for your own self, for your future. You have to know your mission, your own mission, for next 5 years, what you want to be, for next 10 years, what you want to achieve. Then you do the SWOT analysis for yourself. What is your strength? Is it you're very good in presentation? You're very good in communication skill? Your English is very good? Your writing skill is very good? Or you have a very confident look? Okay? And then you also have to know your weakness. Then you see the opportunities of the company available in Malaysia and the threats. So the threats, for example, okay, maybe you have to compete with private university graduates. You also have to compete with overseas graduate. Okay, so when you analyze the internal and external, then you can plan your strategy. Which company is suitable for your future, and then you can implement, start to sending your CV and so on. So this also will be implemented for your career development. Okay, it's not only for organization. All right, so this one I already explained. Okay, ni mission pun already explained. I already give the example. Okay. So for corporate ranking, okay, this outdated already, 2006. Ini yang dekat US lah. Okay. So when you see the corporate ranking here, so Coca-Cola previously is a top global brand in 2005. But when you check right now, okay, can you check right now? What is the top global brands, 100 top global brands in the world?
Amazon.
Amazon. So at that time, 2005, there is no Amazon here. So Amazon more to e-business. So the trend we can see will be more e-business. And then in fact, previously in Malaysia, most of the customer in Malaysia, they are reluctant to use the e-business. Okay, kalau you still remember when you are childhood lah, saya tak ingat. Dekat before we have the Go Shop, we have the Wow Shop. Sebelum tu dia ada apa shop online dekat TV. Ada online shop. They do the advertisement in television. Okay, so but at that time, and then after 2 years or after 1 year, the advertisement and the online shop tu, they stop because the feedback from customer is very limited. But now when you see, okay, everyone will buy online. because the changes of the behavior of customer. Okay, so that's why top global brand right now is Amazon, because how Amazon develop and make the customer confident on their platform. Okay, and the rest you can find later. Okay, and then afterwards formulate the strategies. Okay, formulate the strategies. That one I already show the UTM the strategies that they formulated, and then implementing the strategies. So implementing, we will go to the operational level. So for example, for strategic management, they already have the house of the UTM kan. Then towards the end, the strategic priorities too, all the lecturers, all the technicians, so have to implement in order to produce the holistic talent. How they want to do, so we have like OBE, we have the PBL, so a lot of approaches we have to deal and we have to learn to make sure our graduates have that capability. Okay, and then evaluating results. That's why we every year, every semester, we will evaluate your achievement on PO, okay, on your CO. So that is the evaluating process. Okay, so we want the holistic talent, and then under the holistic talent for EAC, we have PO1 until PO12. Betul? You know your PO, right? Ke tak tahu apa PO? You all tahu tak ni?
Yang untuk setiap subjek ke doktor?
Dia sebenarnya bukan untuk setiap subjek je. Kita ada kejap. Kita ada the whole subject. Bukan ni. Okay ni. Ini for example for SKMM kan. So for SKMM, this is your courses and this is the course name. So at the end, we already plot, okay, which this one, we have this PO, CO jugalah. So this is the knowledge profile. So which knowledge profile that you have to achieve. So this is our plan lah. Okay, ini yang student tak tahu. Okay, after we plan, okay, this course have to manage this one, PO1, CLO1, map to what PO, okay. Nah ini. Then for each of the courses, we have the CLO. So what is the PO? Then what is the knowledge profile, complex problem solving and complex engineering activities that you have to involve. So this is the example of mapping that we want to produce to students. So after we map for each of the subject, and then at the end, every semester, we will evaluate your performance for each of the students. We evaluate, okay, for example, Zikril. Zikril only achieved PO1 with 60%, but our standard is 65%. So you are not achieved, okay? Because before you graduate, all the POs, PO1 until PO12 have to achieve. Okay, they will produce another policy in the future. If you are not complete or you are not achieve the standards of PO level, you cannot be graduate. Tapi at this moment dia tak buat lagi. In the future they will introduce that. Because UTM promise to produce a holistic talent of graduates. And we have to meet the minimum standard to produce the engineer, because we were audited by EAC. EAC is Engineering Accreditation Panel. Okay, so that is the relation how the strategic mapping until the operations level. So at the end, we will do the evaluation whether this strategy has been achieved or not. And then if not, then we have to revise every year, then change, and then do the improvement. So that is the strategic management works. Because they say, okay, what adjustment, if any, are necessary? So we will do the improvement from the achievement of the students, the achievement of, kalau macam lecturer, they will evaluate in terms of our achievement on the research. So itu pun everything we will evaluate. Alright, so any problem or any question on the relation of strategic management?
For now ni tak ada, Doktor.
Faham semua ke? Ke tak faham?
Nampak.
Faham.
Roughly
Nampak
faham.
Okay. Kan kalau macam saya cerita terlalu banyak, takut you tak nampak. So I give to one example of UTM lah. So you can see the flow of how we manage the strategic management. Okay. And then types of organizational strategies. So we have corporate strategies. So for corporate strategies, top management's overall plan for the entire organization and its strategic business unit. So we have the corporate level of strategies. So corporate level of strategies, we can divide into three. Either growth. So growth is for expansion into new products and markets. Stability, to maintain of the status quo. We want to maintain, for example, okay, for growth, expansion into new products and markets. Okay. UTM, before this, they don't include the entrepreneurship. Okay, we want only to produce engineer je. So we don't think about the creating of the job. But after certain time, we think that okay, it's not sustainable. It's difficult to sustain for the engineer only makan gaji. So that's why we add another skill, which is entrepreneur among the UTM graduates. So if you, kalau you rajin, you can search, okay, some of the owner of the company graduated from UTM. So for example, Al-Ihsan. Al-Ihsan also graduated from UTM. Okay. And then Mayang Sari. Mayang Sari also graduated. Mayang Sari, you tahu apa dia? Mayang Sari?
Syarikat bas.
Syarikat bas. So Mayang Sari also, the owner is graduated from UTM. So we want to grow our graduates. It's not only after graduate and then apply kerja kilang. So that is a must lah. But at the same time, we want to do the expansion of our graduates. So some, if they have the strength on the business, so this group of engineers graduated from UTM, they can create another job to open more widely job for other engineers. Okay, so that is growth. And then second is stability. So stability maintained as the status quo. So right now UTM is research university. So we want to maintain the research university status. How we want to maintain? We have to make sure all the lecturers involved with research, and they will increase the number of PI. PI means principal investigator. Okay, so when they want to maintain, one of the reason is many PI lah, many project leader. So all these project leader have to produce the proposal of the research. So a lot of alternatives to make sure the status of research university is still maintained by UTM. Because in Malaysia, we only have 5 research university. UTM, UKM, UPM, UM dengan USM. Okay, because if we still hold the research university status, then the government will pump their money to our university. So we have to have the plan, what is the alternative, what is the way how to make sure our researcher or our lecturer keep doing their research. Okay. So that is stability. The third thing is renewal. Okay, when you say redirection of the firm into new markets. Okay, we have a program, okay, Masters of Advanced Manufacturing that I graduated in 2003 previously. Okay, so Masters of Advanced Manufacturing has been offered in Malaysia since 2000. And then after 20 years, now is 2021 kan? After 20 years, the program has no longer have the high registration by the students. So every year kadang-kadang ada seorang, kadang-kadang ada 2 orang, kadang-kadang 0. So in that sense, what is the university did is we want to renew our program to make sure the demand of the program is still keep continuing. So what we do, we revise our curriculum, we do rebranding, okay, where right now advanced manufacturing is no longer Masters of Advanced Manufacturing, but it's all under Masters of Mechanical Engineering, and then they have a major in Advanced Manufacturing. So that is renewal corporate strategies that we make. Okay. That's why sometimes the organization, when they say, okay, they do the rebranding. Why they do the rebranding? Because they want to redirection of the company into new markets. Okay, similar with Proton. So Proton, okay, previously we had a bad feedback from customer. Okay. In 2001, I used to bought the, apa kita panggil kereta tu? Bukan Gen 2, satu lagi apa? Wajah. I bought Wajah in 2001. Okay. And then at that time, my car was the 3rd batch. So we have the problem on the power window. So on certain extent, the Proton recall all the products, all the Wajah to replace the power window. But that was happened in 2001, 2002 lah. But then after 2003, they have the same problem. After 24, 25, even though other model also have the power window problem. So that gives the bad impression and bad perception to the customer. So even though more than 10 years, Proton already make new changes. Okay, they work together with Lotus, they work together with Geely, they work together with mana lagi? Tesla, ada Tesla.
Tak ada.
Tesla tak ada.
Lama lagi tu.
So they work with other brands, okay, other companies to make sure the perception of they want to correct the perception of the customer. And then right now, we can see the difference between old proton and new proton. Okay, because a lot of improvement they did, especially in terms of safety. So that is why the redirection of the company into markets. They do the rebranding, they work together with other companies, Geely, and then they add new features. Actually, the technology they adopted from China, but then they do some adjustment to suit with the Malaysian condition. So that is renewal after many failures happen. So that is corporate strategies. Okay. All right, so this is the level organizational strategy. So we have multi-business corporation, strategic business, research and development. So from the corporate level, they will go to the unit, and then from the unit, they will go to the department. So that is how the organizational strategy works. Okay, ini tadi kita dah ni. Okay, growth strategy, we have concentration, we have vertical integration, we have horizontal integration and diversification. So what is the concentration? So concentration is focusing on a primary line and increasing the number of products offered or market served. Okay, so they do the they increase the number of products. So if let's say they do business in automotive, so they just increase the number of product of car. So that is concentration. Okay, kalau vertical integration, okay, we have backward vertical and we have forward vertical. So if backward, so attempting to gain control of inputs, so they will become the self-supplier. So that is happen for Jalin Kicap. Jalin Kicap, okay, they have their manufacturer. So manufacturer is actually belong to their father, okay. And then dia punya adik-beradik become the transporter, their adik-beradik becomes the self-supplier. So actually dia punya supply chain tu is more on family business. Okay, so that is backward vertical integration. Okay, the next one is forward vertical integration, where they're attempting to gain control or output through control of the distribution channel or provide customer service activities. So they will eliminate intermediaries. So this is happen for Dell. Siapa yang attend my class in supply chain, so this is the example of Dell. So they do the forward vertical integration, where they only communicate directly to the customer. So they eliminate the intermediaries. They don't want the distributor, so it's difficult for them to deal with customer. So easier for them to control the output of the product or the satisfaction of the customer. So that is forward vertical integration. Because when they get the feedback directly from the customer, it's easier for them to improve their service. And then horizontal integration, combining operations with another competitor in the same industry to increase competitive strengths and lower competition among industry rivals. So this is the example of bank tadi. Bank, Bianli Bank, Bumiputra Bank, so UAB Bank, all together they merge. So when they merge, they can increase their competitive strength. Okay, and then the next one is related diversification. So related diversification, okay, expanding by combining with firms in different but related industries that are strategic fits. Okay, so this the related diversification means, okay, for example, OneSubsea. Okay, OneSubsea, they merge together with Schlumberger, they merge together with Franco. Okay, so when they merge these three companies, so kita tengok OneSubsea sekejap. Sekarang ni kita panggil OneSubsea. Merge Schlumberger Cameron dengan Franco. Yeah. Okay. Dia lebih kurang macam ni lah. Saya tak tahu which to which, okay. Tapi for Cameron produce Cameron produce the components of the oil and gas, okay, for drilling. So they have the BOP, they have the tree. So when they do the operation of oil and gas, so the components of drilling operation has been managed by Cameron. And then Franco for the engineering for the lapisan dekat atas ni, tu Franco punya area. And then Schlumberger for the operations to to get the oil lah. Okay, so when they merge these three companies, so meaning the whole thing from the drilling, from the exploring until they produce the oil is belong to the OneSubsea. So itu one of the example of how they do the related diversification. They combine all the few companies and then with related industries to conquer all the operations. Okay, so that is related diversification. For unrelated diversification is growing by combining with firms in unrelated industries where higher financial returns are possible. Okay, ini kita tengok dekat bursa. You all nanti kena buat punya bursa kan? Company apa kita nak tengok? Okay, Asia tak, Asia masih lagi transportation. Sekejap. Saya kalau macam buka kat sini takut dia terbuka warna lain. Trading view. Okay, kita ambil lah mana-mana Ni market mana ni? US market. Okay, kita tengok Yongtai sekejap. So, Yongtai punya kalau saya terhilang, nanti saya masuk balik. Malaysia Stock Biz. So Yongtai dia property je. Ni you can see lah. Okay. So you can see here. Okay, you can see here. So Yongtai main business dia is about the property tadi kan. But now they try to expand into gold mining business. Lepas tu they also have involved with healthcare. So from property they expand with diversified area. Gold mining, healthcare, so memang very opposite from what they are doing. So that is called unrelated diversification. So kalau rajin-rajin you check lah, you check dekat apa, dekat tadi saya pergi mana, Trading View, lepas Trading View tadi saya pergi Malaysian Stock Biz. So nanti you check for few related companies which do the growth strategies, okay, and then you can read their plan lah, okay, what are the company that they involve in. And then stability, okay, stability tadi saya dah cerita, and renewal also, okay, renewal ni ada juga yang do the retrenchment. Okay. When we do rebranding, and then some of the not perform worker, so we do they do the they retrench the worker. Alright, so any question? Any question? Ada question tak?
No, Doktor.
Tak ada.
So far no, Doktor.
So far so
Faham
good.
ke ni? Faham ke tak?
InsyaAllah faham, Doktor.
Faham sikit tapi nak digest sendiri.
Try to digest lah, because I know this is very different from engineering typical subject, but I believe that when I relate with other companies and profile and the example that we bring into class, so you can see what is the related and the process that has been done in the company. So at least you get the idea when you work outside later.
Yeah, Doctor.
Okay.
Macam interesting lah, can see the company actually how it operate.
Yes. So itulah, so sekarang ni kita dah ada 11:45, okay. Because kalau nak continue BCG tu nanti lagi panjang. So I think we stop here for today. So I would like to take the opportunity to wish all the Hindus happy Deepavali, And the rest, happy holiday for tomorrow until next week kan, Sunday. It's a long holiday. Okay. Alright, so with that, I end our class today. Okay, have a nice weekend and have a nice long holiday. Bye, Assalamualaikum, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.